I did not know you were a heavy Pink Floyd fan.
Huge Pink Floyd fan, man.
Now, between you and I, do you like the Syd Barrett shit?
Really, honestly, not that much.
Oh, my God. It's fucking horrible. I'd rather hear Yoko Ono jump up and down with a ukulele.
Yeah.
It was like, when people came up to me, there were certain types of music when I was growing up that when people came up to me and said they really liked this, I would look at them and say, really? Or is it that you're trying to fucking be cool?
Right.
Because this is garbage.
Yeah. He was trying to be
cool. Let me know. But the early Pink Floyd is like Yoko Ono. It's like nails on a fucking board.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't start coming around till I wasn't hip to Pink Floyd as much as Led Zeppelin, Sabbath. And then when I took a hit of acid and I went to see a midnight movie. When I was growing up, midnight movies were huge, Tony Hinchcliffe. Every movie theater had 2 movies. What's the movie where people yell and scream?
Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror. You had Rocky Horror. And then the other one would have a classic or a rock concert. The song remains the same. And one of the ones I went to see was Pink Floyd live at Pompeii.
Oh, yeah, I know that. Yep, I have that DVD.
Yeah, we went to see that in the movies, you know, on a hit of fucking acid or methamphetamine juice or whatever the fuck we did. We went in there, and I remember leaving there going, there's something to that Pink Floyd. But I had Dark Side of the Moon. I had Dark Side of the Moon in the 8th grade.
Yeah.
Because I liked the song Money. And I told Lee, I used to have the McDonald's All-American Basketball poster on my wall. I had a picture of Dr. J about the slam. I had another picture of Led Zeppelin. That was a backwards picture. It was taken so everybody was opposite. So if Jimmy Page was really a righty, in the picture he was a lefty. It was the weirdest picture. It was very rare. I had that on my wall. And this kid, Vinnie Lynch, God rest his soul, took me and I took a hit of fucking blood acid. I was maybe freshman year.
Jesus.
I took a hit of blood acid with like 5 or 6 beers and I got fucked up. And I went home and I laid down and I had the 8-track to Dark Side of the Moon. I had one of those portable 8-track players and I put Dark so the thing was in my ear.
Yeah.
And that On the Run, the pianos and shit. And that's the first time I really started tripping. Yep. The posters were going.
I mean, that thing, you could play that for somebody who's stone sober. You got good speakers.
Lee don't like it.
He used to, when he would get me really high on edibles and bong hits, he'd put that stuff on and it's like, I understand that you say it's like made to trip. It's terrifying. It gets your heart rate going. Like, it's not, it doesn't even really sound like music to me.
Dark Side of the Moon will fuck you up.
Is that the one with planes? Like,
no, that's the wall.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh my God, that one's even worse.
That's the wall. The wall is a psychological fucking mess.
Have you listened to those things sober though?
Yeah, I've listened to it sober. I mean, it's interesting, but I start thinking about when I'm high and it gets me all riled up.
Yeah, that's too many edibles. That's just the edibles. You're having flashbacks.
Yeah,
I loved as a young kid getting that fucking high.
Yeah.
And putting that on to test my wits.
Well, that's how it started.
That was my world.
That's how it started with me in high school when I started getting stoned with me and my buddies. I mean, that was it. It was on like Donkey Kong. And then, Pink Floyd was really the first art I ever appreciated. Pink Floyd sort of got me into Tarantino, which got me into, respecting art. It was Floyd and Tarantino. That was it when I was in high school. I remember our senior year, we had like our rivalry week or whatever, where, you hang out with the buddies and all this. And each night everybody crashes at everybody else's house. So Wednesday's Tony's night. And I put together this whole thing where me and the buddies watched, it was Super Troopers. And then I showed them Pink Floyd matched up with Wizard of Oz. Now, back then, you had to literally have the frickin' VHS or whatever of Wizard of Oz, and you had to have a separate CD player to play the two things, and you had to match them up yourself. It's not like you can go on YouTube, you just type in WIZ and the rest pops up now, and you could watch it matched up. But that stuff matches up, and it's one of the great anomalies, one of the great mysteries to me, up there with DB Cooper and everything, is how the hell does that stuff match up? It matches up lyrically, it matches up video-wise. You've done that, right?
I saw it when that shit first came out, and I was blown away.
It's ridiculous.
And it's not something that... It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Because, either they made that album knowing what they were doing and sort of like, oh, we need this to match up with Wizard of Oz. Why would they do that? but lyrically, time-wise, all these things for 52 minutes. You know, it ends with her putting her head to the Tin Man's heart, and it ends with that heartbeat. You know, all this stuff. And it's what the best-selling album of all time next to the Eagles' greatest hits or whatever. Yes. And then it's Dark Side of the Moon, which says a lot because, you know, they've always painted Pink Floyd, they being like, you know, whatever, media and people, as this just psychedelic band. But you ask any musician who their favorite bass player, you know, whatever is, they tell you Roger Waters, Pink Floyd. You know, and that's the thing I think with Sid. Sid got a bad reputation, I think, because he didn't want to play anything mainstream. And those guys are like, wanted to make money and have hits. They're like, we could have hits.
Yeah, this guy's throwing forks against the wall, hitting his hand with a hammer and yelling. It was tough to listen to. It's really weird when I speak to people who are high up in music, which is not a lot. And they say to me, well, who's your favorite guitarist? Like, I love Jimmy Page. Okay, I think Jimmy Page is brilliant. The Song Remains the Same proves it. I love Pat Benatar's guitar player. I love Randy Rhoads. But the guy that splits my heart in half with his guitar, there's been two guys, and that's David Gilmour and Eric Clapton.
Yep, I'm with you on that.
Both from that same fucking school of guitar playing.
Yep.
I could lie to you and tell you all this shit. My first experience with Pink Floyd was Dark Side of the Moon. And then I was lost in this Sabbath, Stones, Who world and whatever. And I started hanging out with this dude, and he had a shed. And he put it on fucking Animals. Okay, now, if you're high and you're not ready for Animals, it will take you fucking down.
Yeah.
And I was groomed on Animals to the point that if my daughter's around, I put dogs on her.
Yeah.
If she's playing like she plays Jenga in my office on the floor, we play Jenga together, I'll fucking put dogs on.
Yeah.
And when she hears the dogs barking, she reacts to me and she asks me what that is. And I tell her that there's 3 types of people in the world: dogs, pigs, and fucking sheep. Mm-hmm. You got to pick one. Yeah. You could be a pig and end up like Harvey Weinstein. He could be a fucking dog. And he just breaks it down to you. Lyrically, in the beginning, you got to be crazy. Yep. You got to have a real need. You got to sleep on your toes. When you're off the street, you got to be able to pick out the easy meat with your eyes closed. Yep. That tells you the story of life right there. If you're going to go out into the jungle, that better be your fucking moniker. Before you leave the house, that's it. It's not a fucking, he painted it out for you, you know. Yep. I don't even know what the second verse is, but I know it's like fucking, you end up with cancer and you're fucking listening to, you're on a hit of acid. Mm-hmm. Your mind is fucking somewhere else. And this guy's telling you that if you don't attack, you're going to end up with fucking dying, an old man of cancer in Florida and shit. And you're listening to this, and all of a sudden it takes this fucking guitar. This Gilmour comes in, you hear these dogs barking. And in those days, you got monotone speakers. So the speakers, the barking would come out of 2 speakers at 2 different times. It would blow your fucking brains off.
So you got the lyrics, right?
You got the lyrics.
Got the guitar.
The guitar would break your heart.
The guy who's writing it is the bass player, and basically their rivalry, Roger Waters and David Gilmour never got along. They couldn't stand each other, but that's what fed the band. They were competing with each other. Oh, you think the bass line to Money is going to be what steals the show? Wait till you see what I go cook up in the room. I'm going to go write the guitar solo, you son of a bitch. Right? So this competition, this healthy competition, made it so that they're literally trying to steal the show. He writes Comfortably Numb. Gilmour is like, well, I'll go write the guitar solo then. They did those things separately, like sort of together, but really separately. Gilmour would go off and do whatever and figure that out. So you got the lyrics, you got the guitar, you got the bass, drums, whatever, sure, they got a drummer, written by the bass player. But another crazy fun fact is they were the first band to ever apply colors or decorate a stage. It used to just be a black curtain. That was it. There wasn't no inflatables, lasers, colors. There was no screens. No band was showing anything behind them. That wasn't a thing. It was listen to the music, watch us play. So you when you factor in everything, and to this day, and not only back in the late 70s and 80s were they spending more money than everybody else to put on a big production, but to this day, I got to go see Roger Waters at the Staples Center this most recent time with my friend Tal Wilkenfeld, amazing bass player, one of the best in the world. And she loves comedy. Her and I made friends, and she's in deep with everyone in music. Everyone looks up to her. It turns out at the end of the show, Roger Waters we were in the green room with everybody that's in the band and everything, but Roger's not there. He has his own separate green room with like chocolate fountains and everything, like stuff you just dream of, like stuff you hear in imagine made up stories. And but the point is we were so in that she ended up running into the guy, you know, in the middle of the big Staples Center that like runs everything, because like he's like, hey, tall, and she's like, hey, blah 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 blah. And I listened to them, and he was telling her, like, you see that up there? That's an extra whatever it was, 15 million in speakers that they brought in, that they just have hanging from the top of the Staples Center, like extra super crazy sound that even, you know, she didn't know about. It was like inside information, basically. Like they still to this day are pushing it to blow people's minds away to shreds.
Well, that was the problem why they didn't tour the wall. They did the 6 dates or in Philly or in New York, and they did the other 6 dates in fucking, because the production was too expensive. They weren't, no, I paid $15 for those tickets.
That's crazy.
You know, I think the top ticket was $28, maybe $25. So they broke even on those shows. You know, I read somewhere where they basically broke even. They couldn't tour that. It was, first off, if you watch everything made, there was a couple bands between, I say, 69 to 80, before cocaine took over this great country of ours. Everything was pretty much, every band, if you watch the videos and all that shit, even Woodstock, it's made because they assume that you're tripping. Mm-hmm. If you watch The Song Remains the Same, there's colors in there. There's sketches of him climbing up the wall and touching Aleister Crowley, and then the guitars and the fucking lights. They made shit to fuck with you. When you listen to Pink Floyd and you're on acid, is where you see the brilliance. You hear that heartbeat throughout their songs. It matches up with your heartbeat. Yeah. All their music has a heartbeat to it, a rhythm, and it matches up with your rhythm. And deep into the trip, you'll realize you're breathing. It's fucking crazy. If it's 2 in the afternoon and you ain't high, go fuck yourself. Get out of my face. I want you around me like I want cancer in my ball sack. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna come around here looking at me with your fucking wide eyes, thinking that, you know, I'm gonna reform. Go fuck yourself. My morning starts at 5:30 a.m. Either you're there or you're square. You know what I'm saying?